Trump's Epstein Bluff just got called and he's panicking on live TV. Let me get this straight. Bill and Hillary Clinton, the two people Donald Trump has spent years screaming about on Truth Social like a guy arguing with his reflection at 3 a.m., just said, yeah, we'll testify. Publicly, on camera, under oath, televised for everyone. And Trump's response, I like Bill Clinton. What? That's not a pivot. That's a hard, emotional U-turn at 90 miles an hour. This is like Thanos suddenly saying, honestly, Captain America is a good guy. He gets me. So let's talk about what just happened. Because Trump's entire Epstein strategy just collapsed in real time. And NBC caught it on tape. Here's the setup. For years, Trump's playbook has been simple. Release the Epstein files. Expose the Democrats. Lock up Clinton. Very loud, very confident, very I definitely didn't think this through energy. Because that strategy only works if the other side refuses to cooperate. Trump needs his enemies to hide so he can point and say, see, they are guilty. But then the Clintons did the unthinkable. They say, no redactions, no backroom deals, no closed doors, put us on camera. That is the political equivalent of someone calling your bluff, sliding all their chips in and saying, flip the cards. And suddenly Trump's like, oh no, I meant their transparency. So NBC asked Trump the obvious question. If Bill Clinton is willing to testify under oath, will you? And Trump responds with, they indicted me many times. That's not an answer. That's a Windows error sound. Being indicted is not the same thing as raising your right hand and answering questions about Jeffrey Epstein. That's like saying, I already got pulled over once, so I don't have to take the breathalyzer. No, sir, that's not how this works. Then comes the wildest moment. Trump starts praising Bill Clinton. I like Bill Clinton. He got to me. He understood me. Brother, what? You spent a decade calling this man a criminal mastermind, and now you're talking about him like you're a therapist. That's not nostalgia. That's recognition. That's Trump realizing, oh, I know, we're in the same category. But here's the thing. Trump isn't defending Clinton. He's defending himself. He's saying what happens when the spotlight turns, and he does not like the lighting. Now let's talk about why this matters. Because according to multiple reports, Trump appears thousands, possibly tens of thousands of times in Epstein-related documents, more references than Harry Potter has spells. And yet, when international fighters show up in these files, they resign. A Slovakian national security advisor, gone. A UK ambassador, gone. Major law firm chairman, gone. Meanwhile, in America, Trump refuses to testify. And the Speaker of the House literally runs away from reporters when asked if Trump should answer questions under oath. That's not leadership. That's Scooby-Doo behavior. And when Trump does talk, he tells on himself. NBC asked about ICE agents killing Americans. Trump's response, you get bad publicity. Not that's tragic, not we need accountability, just bad press. That is a man who views human lives the same way he views Yelp reviews. Then the reporter fact-checks him on his poll numbers to his face. Trump says, my economy polls are great. Reporter says, they are not. Trump responds, I don't know why. That's not confusion. That's delusion with Wi-Fi. That's a guy who believes reality is broken because it's not agreeing with him. And while all of this is happening, Epstein dominoes are falling globally. Governments are releasing documents. Parliaments are demanding answers. Officials are being held accountable. But in the US, Trump's DOJ releases files slowly, selectively, heavily redacted, just enough to damage enemies, never enough to expose him. That's not transparency. That's curated accountability. Even Melania won't touch it. When asked about Ghislaine Maxwell, someone she's documented communicating with, she shuts it down instantly. No questions. The entire family has the same strategy. Deny, deflect, disappear. Because sunlight is only good when it's pointed away from you. And here's the core issue. If Trump had nothing to hide, if these references were meaningless, if this was all fake news, then testifying would be the easiest win of his life. Imagine the headlines. Trump testifies, clears his name. That's political gold. But he won't do it. Because oath-bound testimony is different. You can't Truth Social your way out of perjury. You can't rant. You can't pivot. You can't blame the media. You have to answer. So when the Clintons say, put us on camera, and Trump says, no thanks, That tells you everything. The bluff has been called, and Trump's entire Epstein narrative, the accusations, the deflections, the attacks, just collapse into one question he refuses to answer. Why won't you testify under oath? Because whatever is in those files, whatever those references show, whatever comes next, he's more afraid of the truth than he is of looking guilty. And that's the tell.